In the heart of the wild, where survival rules and instinct commands, something extraordinary unfolds. A creature, cloaked in black feathers, stares at a challenge not with fear, but with thought. It pauses, observes, calculates, and then it creates. This is not a human, it's a crow. For years, we believed tool-making was the birthright of humanity. That invention was the ultimate proof of our superiority. But nature has been quietly keeping a secret with wings. High in the forests of New Caledonia, a crow grips a twig. It doesn't just use it, it reshapes it, bends the tip into a hook, tests it, adjusts it again, until it's perfect. Then with the precision of an engineer, it slips the hook into a hollow log and pulls out a hidden grub, a handmade tool, forged not by instinct, but by imagination. Scientists were stunned. They ran experiments, each more complex than the last. Transparent tubes, floating food, puzzles that required planning. Each time the crows adapted. They didn't just react, they reasoned. They could see a problem, imagine the solution, and take steps to achieve it. When one crow watched another use a tool, it learned instantly, not by copying blindly, but by understanding the purpose behind the action. That's cognition, that's strategy, that's genius. One experiment changed everything. A crow was given a short stick and a long stick locked inside a cage. The food was out of reach. The bird studied the setup, picked the short stick, and used it to pull out the long one. Then used the long one to reach the food. 2 tools, 2 steps, a chain of logic once thought unique to humans. In that moment, science caught a glimpse of intelligence evolving along a different path, one made not of hands and machines, but of feathers and instinct refined into thought. Crows don't just make tools, they make decisions. They remember faces, they plan for tomorrow, they mourn their dead. And when you look into their eyes, something looks back, aware, deliberate, ancient. Maybe intelligence isn't bound to shape or size. Maybe it doesn't need language or fire or civilization. Maybe it simply needs curiosity and the courage to invent. The next time you see a crow perched on a wire, watching the world with silent calculation, remember, you might just be looking at a fellow inventor, a thinker in feathers, a shadow of our own reflection. Because in the grand story of evolution, humans may not be the only ones writing with tools. Somewhere, above the trees, the crows are writing too. In a quiet Oxford laboratory in 2002, something happened that would rewrite the story of intelligence forever. It didn't involve a human scientist, but a crow. Her name was Betty. She wasn't famous. She wasn't trained. She was just one of 2 crows in a simple experiment. An experiment that would shock the entire scientific world. The task was easy, at least for a human. A small bucket of food sat at the bottom of a tall plastic tube. The only way to get it out was with a hook, but there were no hooks, only 2 wires, one straight, one already bent. Betty's partner took the bent one and flew away. She was left with nothing, just a straight piece of metal. What happened next? No one expected. Betty looked at the wire, tilted her head, and began to think. She placed one end of the wire under her foot, bit the other end, and started to bend. Slowly, deliberately. Not random, not frantic, purposeful. Within moments, she had invented a hook, a tool that had never existed before in her environment. No one had shown her how. No one had trained her. And yet she lifted the bucket from the tube as if she had done it 100 times before. Silence filled the lab. Scientists stared, speechless. Because in that single act, a bird had done something thought to belong only to human minds. She had used insight. This wasn't instinct. It wasn't luck. It was creativity. The ability to imagine a solution to a problem that had never been seen before. Betty didn't just bend a wire, she bent science itself. She forced us to question everything we thought we knew about intelligence, evolution, and the human mind. How could a creature with no hands, no language, no culture, create a tool from scratch? How How could a brain the size of a walnut rival our own problem-solving power? Years later, scientists would look back at that moment and call it one of the most important discoveries in animal cognition, because Betty proved something profound, that intelligence isn't measured by size or shape or species, but by imagination. Betty the crow may never know the weight of what she did. She was just trying to reach her food, but in doing so, she reached into the very heart of science and changed it forever. The wire she bent that day still sits preserved in Oxford, a small, twisted piece of metal and a reminder that genius can hide in feathers. Deep in the green forests of New Caledonia, far from the noise of cities and machines, another kind of workshop hums quietly with life. No hammers, no blueprints, just wings, beaks, and genius. Here the crows are not just birds, they're engineers. Every twig, every leaf, every piece of bark is a potential masterpiece waiting to be shaped. Because these crows don't just find tools, they build them. Watch one closely. It lands on a branch, scans the forest floor, and selects a specific twig. Not too long, not too short. It inspects it with precision, turning it in its beak like a craftsman studying raw material. Then, the sculpting begins. Piece by piece, it strips away bark, trims edges, sharpens one end, and curves it ever so slightly, transforming it into a perfect hook. This isn't random behavior, it's deliberate design, because the shape of that hook depends on what the crow is hunting. If the target is a grub deep inside a crevice, the crow makes a slender, curved hook, one that can reach and snag with ease. If it's hunting beetles under bark, it might use a broader, stiffer stick, designed for leverage. And sometimes it even keeps a collection of favorite tools hidden in its personal toolbox, using certain ones over and over again. Each creation is tested, refined, improved. If a hook fails, the crow studies the mistake and builds a better one next time. Trial and error, the very foundation of invention. Alive in a creature we once thought ruled only by instinct. Scientists have watched these birds craft tools from pandanus leaves, carving them into intricate shapes with clean, even edges, like saw blades made from nature's own material. And what's truly astonishing, different crow families in different regions have their own styles, their own design traditions, as if cultures of craftsmanship are quietly evolving, generation after generation, in a world of feathers and forest light. They pass their techniques down from parent to child, teaching each movement, each curve, each subtle adjustment. A legacy of invention, not in factories but in treetops. To witness a crow at work is to watch intelligence in motion. Focused, creative, relentless. Every movement reveals a mind that doesn't just use nature, it understands it. So the next time you hear the call of a crow, imagine this. Somewhere nearby, that voice belongs to a tiny blacksmith of the wild, a designer, a thinker, a craftsman of air and earth, building the perfect tool, one twig at a time. In the silent corners of the forest, where the air hums with unseen intelligence, a crow lands gently on a branch. In its beak, not food, not prey, but a tool, a slender hook it carved days ago, something it values, something it remembers. This isn't just another stick from the forest floor. It's a creation, the product of effort, skill, and purpose. And like an artist protecting a masterpiece, the crow doesn't leave it behind, it hides it. Scientists once believed animals use tools only in the moment, a quick solution, then forgotten. But recent studies reveal a deeper truth. Crows remember their best tools. They recognize their shapes, their weight, their effectiveness. They even store them safely for future use. Under leaves, in crevices, behind bark, hidden like treasures waiting to be reclaimed. In one experiment, researchers gave crows a choice between multiple tools. Some worked well, others didn't. Days later, when given a new challenge, the same birds searched specifically for the tool that had served them best before. They didn't just remember the task, they remembered the object that solved it. That's not instinct, that's memory, that's ownership. Some crows have even been seen guarding their tools from others, refusing to let nearby birds steal them, watching from a distance until the coast is clear before retrieving them again. It's not just possession, it's pride. They value what they create. Imagine what that means. In the wild, where every second counts, a crow chooses to invest time, not only in crafting a tool, but in keeping it safe. That's foresight. That's planning. That's intelligence evolved with precision and patience. Researchers call it tool caching, but it feels like something far more profound. Because when a crow hides a tool, it's not hiding a twig, it's hiding knowledge. A piece of its mind stored away for later, like a thought buried beneath the leaves. And when it returns to find that tool, weeks or even months later, it reclaims not just a piece of wood, but the memory of creation itself. In those small moments, a beak lifting a leaf, a dark eye scanning for danger, we see the quiet echoes of our own behavior. The way humans protect what they build, the way we cherish what took effort to make. Maybe intelligence isn't just about invention. Maybe it's about value. The ability to recognize that something you shaped with your own effort matters. So when a crow hides its tool, it's doing more than keeping a secret. It's guarding an idea, a spark of thought, a tiny piece of genius, tucked safely under the forest floor. In the vast blue sky above us, a crow glides, free, effortless, and curious. It spots a twig on the ground, swoops down, and picks it up. But there's no food nearby, no problem to solve, no survival at stake. So, why does it still play? For years, scientists believed that every animal action had one purpose: survival, eat, reproduce, escape, nothing more. But then the crows began to surprise us. In laboratories and forests alike, they started doing something no one expected, using tools for fun. One crow was seen dropping bottle caps down a slanted roof, then racing to catch them as they slid. Another used a twig to poke at puddles, watching the ripples form again and again, as if fascinated by cause and effect. Some have even been caught snowboarding, repeatedly sliding down snowy roofs on pieces of bark, just to feel the thrill. No hunger, no reward, just joy. Scientists call it play behavior, but beneath that term lies something extraordinary: curiosity, an awareness of experience, an emotional depth that blurs the line between instinct and imagination. When a crow pokes, rolls, drops, or tests an object, it's thinking, what happens if I do this? What if I change that? It's the same spark that drives human creativity, the urge to experiment for the sake of discovery. In one study, researchers gave crows puzzle boxes filled with simple tools. Even when they weren't hungry, the birds kept interacting with the tools, twisting them, balancing them, exploring their limits. They weren't surviving, they were learning. This is not the cold, mechanical intelligence of survival. This is emotional intelligence, the capacity to wonder, to feel curiosity, to seek stimulation beyond need. It's the joy of understanding. A crow doesn't have to drop a stone into water to raise the level and drink, but sometimes it does it anyway. Just to see what happens, just to know. Maybe play is where intelligence truly begins. Not in fear or hunger, but in curiosity, in the desire to touch, to test, to explore. Crows remind us that thought isn't just a tool for living. It's an art, an experience, a joy. So the next time you see a crow playing with a stick, flipping it midair, or teasing gravity just for the thrill of it, remember, it's not foolish, it's free. Because beyond survival, beyond instinct, these birds are doing something profoundly human, discovering the beauty of curiosity itself.